President Szymanski, Provost Chali, Dr. Fenner, faculty, staff, students, family, friends, and members of the UNF community. Thank you all. I'm honored and humbled to be recognized as UNF's Distinguished Professor. I've been fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by such a great group of UNF faculty, staff, administrators, students, and alumni. I'm grateful to all of you for helping me to reach this point, which means a great deal to me. Thank you. All of you know it took me several years to be able to stand here and have the honor and pleasure to address you. I was selected twice as a Distinguished Professor runner-up in 2016 and 2017. That is typical to almost everything I try to accomplish in my life. Persistent trials with much struggle to achieve a goal, several setbacks, many failures, then maybe a success. I remember over 30 years ago, I kept trying for years to pursue my PhD in Europe or North America after finishing my master's degree. My mom and dad comforted and embraced me while I kept receiving many rejection letters, admission letters without enough scholarships, more rejections, and finally a success. Then when I was traveling in 1989 to pursue my PhD in North Carolina, my parents struggled to hide their tears in their eyes at Cairo airport, saying goodbye. My dad was a civil engineer building bridges, tunnels, and dams. He got his civil engineering education at Cairo University in Egypt, and his professional education and training was in France and Sweden in 1950s and 1960s. Given his life experiences, he encouraged me to travel, knowing the importance of international exposure. My mom studied at the law school at Cairo University in the 1950s, made her very analytical and logical in making decisions and giving sound advice. I love and miss my parents so much. They foster persistence and dedication to pursuing our dream no matter how long it takes or how hard it is. I learned from my parents persistent support for my sister while raising her two sons to successfully pursue her medical MD degree at Cairo University, her master's and PhD, and admirably fulfill her demanding job as the chair of the Department of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. I learned through my parents' support for my brother to successfully earn his engineering degree and establish a very successful engineering firm in Egypt. Our parents have been an inspiration to us, and their example continues even after they passed away. Their spirit of persistence resides in me, for I'm trying to emulate them by supporting and encouraging our UNF students and our children. Mariam, a junior at the University of Florida, UF, pursuing her pre-med degree, Summer, 11th grader at Bowles, and Adam, a 5th grader. I see this support and encouragement to persist past failures as a central theme in my life and an important goal for us as teachers to pursue. I always urge my children and students to try, fail, process, reflect, accumulate knowledge, learn from failures, try again, fail again, try and then succeed. It's fine to have failures, but with persistence, one will eventually reach success. I tell my students that failure is part of learning and most likely will be the key to success. I learned that very well from engineering projects and even from the construction of the ancient Egyptian pyramids. I've learned that throughout history, we have experienced unfortunate structural failures, including bridge collapses. Yet these failures prompt us to gather invaluable information, learn critical lessons from failures, deepen our knowledge, sharpen our skills, and enhance our future design, construction, maintenance, repair, and monitoring. The failures we experience provide essential lessons to achieve success. But persistence through initial failure is not the only important virtue. Community is important as well. I naively thought that engineering, science, and technology alone were sufficient to advance our lives. I had the honor to lead a faculty group on international academic visits to Turkey, Morocco, and Egypt to establish and maintain research initiatives and exchange programs. And I thought I was the expert who knew it all. Till I learned how limited my knowledge was and still is. When touring the pyramids in Giza, the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, and historic places in Egypt, Turkey, and Morocco, my knowledge was only focused on the engineering aspects. However, it was amazing to learn from my UNF colleagues about the culture, the society, the history of the ancient Egyptian civilization, the cultures of Greece, Rome, Persia, China, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and the Aztecs. Thanks to my colleagues, my lack of knowledge turned into a rich learning experience. I also have led and co-led student groups on study abroad and international TLO service projects to Ghana, Morocco, and Germany. And honestly, I learned a great deal from my colleagues and students during this travel. Our interaction helped me develop cross-cultural awareness and learn to use experiential learning. A few years ago, I was a guest lecturer in Cologne, Germany, and I had to present very dry topics. After several rehearsals, I was able to improve my presentations through integrating practical examples from my industrial experience and embedding video clips of my testing, my lab testing. The students and faculty got very engaged and interacted positively. And after the lecture, they were knocking on the desks with their hands and knuckles. Before I got word, my dear German colleague reassured me enthusiastically with a big smile that this knocking is a kind of applause expressing appreciation. I was relieved. I was encouraged to interact more and exchange a great deal of information with the German audience that broadened my horizons and deepened my knowledge. Later, I conducted a successful study abroad with UNF students to learn the history and structural engineering in Germany. I also initiated collaboration in Japan and Italy to establish joint research and exchange programs. And my students and I learned from a remarkable architect many lessons on the history, culture, and preservation of historic structures in Italy. Talking and traveling with knowledgeable faculty taught me about the history of nations and that the history is marked by great events and the accomplishments of remarkable individuals whose impact is significant, not just in construction, but in science, culture, economics, and technology. I learned that a vibrant community of learners from multiple backgrounds and perspectives is the best way to advance knowledge and the best way to have a positive impact on our UNF students and to advance their careers. One of the areas of my academic expertise is pre-stressed concrete that you see in bridges and buildings. When I started teaching pre-stressed concrete, I failed to connect with my students. Then I was fortunate to partner with industrial firms and the Pre-Stressed Concrete Institute Foundation. With their help and my persistence, I succeeded in improving my lectures, and the students start being excited and having a good learning experience about today's great success in design, fabrication, and constructions of millions of landmark structures using precast and pre-stressed concrete. They enjoyed learning about the history and evolution of pre-stressed concrete that resulted in a boom in reconstructing bridges in Europe that were destroyed during World War II. With persistence and learning from my failures, along with the support of my community of scholars and industry professionals, I was fortunate to lead UNF student teams to win regional and national competitions, collaborate and lead faculty research teams from 8 universities, secure about $2.5 million project funds, including a national grant to establish the first PCI engineering design studio in the US, and publish a textbook and 90 journals and conference papers. I was blessed to receive a national award by the PCI, the Educator of the Year Award, and awards of Fulbright Scholar and Fulbright Specialist. But my experience is not unique. Although I'm the one being recognized today, there are many of you who are doing amazing work. As we speak, almost 17,000 UNF students are being inspired by the teaching of our knowledgeable and dedicated faculty. Do you know what I think is unique about UNF? It's our passionate professors who spark enthusiasm, create a culture of active learning, light the fire of curiosity, foster students' critical thinking and creativity, engage in our community, and not only engage with our students, but invest in their overall well-being. My daughters, Mariam and Summer, used to ask me when they were young, "Dad, what do you really do or accomplish?" They basically questioned the impact of professors. I kept telling them that thousands of lives are being saved every hour as a result of rigorous academic research and teaching that contribute to advances in medical science and innovations in engineering. My answer did not convince them enough. Till my daughter started pursuing her pre-med studies at UF, volunteering at Chance and Mayo Clinic, she started realizing that indeed thousands of patients are being cured with new medicines and innovative discoveries. To convince my children more, especially Adam, I shared with them the news of adaptive toys that help children with physical disabilities by combined efforts and innovations of physical therapy and engineering at UNF. I explained to my children that we proudly work in an inspirational community where we take on big challenges in our research and teaching. Thus, challenges do not become setbacks or roadblocks, but offer us opportunities to do remarkable work. I constantly share with my students and children how graduates from UNF and other institutions have contributed to designing, constructing, improving, and maintaining many resilient bridges, buildings, tunnels, roads, and new water, energy, and transportation systems to improve our lives. I am biased to engineering, so forgive me. Every day, a new invention or innovation emerges in engineering that enhance our overall well-being. I think my children were either convinced after my persistence in providing success stories, or they just got bored and gave up asking. But do you think I stopped? No. I told my children and students again, remember, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy 20 years ago, but Steve Jobs' clear vision, sound plan, creativity, and partnership with competitor Microsoft turned things around to make Apple now the most successful US company that tops a market valuation of $1 trillion. I added, also 10 years ago, Elon Musk's vision became a reality after years of many setbacks, 3 failures, hard work, and then 1 success that converted the 2 struggling companies of Tesla and SpaceX from being on the verge of bankruptcy to today's very successful companies. At the beginning of the new academic year, it's important to remember that it's our individual and collective effort as faculty, staff, administrators that create a unique and healthy learning environment. Today, we are fortunate to witness a great progress at UNF because of these efforts across all of our colleges. Our accomplishments have earned national and international acclaim. We challenge our students, embrace their failures, support and inspire them to pursue success. That combination of challenging our students to persist and supporting them as a community is a huge strength to UNF. Yet, with all of these successes, did we realize our full potential? Despite our dedicated efforts in providing a rich learning environment that has significantly improved students' progress and growth, the state metrics are not reflecting our dedication. My colleagues, now more than ever, our job is to acknowledge the challenges before us, learn from the failures behind us, and turn those failures into successes. We will leverage our resources, our competitive advantage, our skilled faculties, and our supportive industry to achieve giant leaps of progress and sustainable success. We will work collaboratively to provide a healthy environment and an enjoyable freshman experience, attract remarkable students, retain and motivate them, support and help them persist, graduate, and place them in a successful career. We will keep inspiring and engaging our students in hands-on experience and experiential learning. I believe that with a renewed focus on what we do best, challenging and supporting our students, the matrix, as well as our outstanding student learning, will eventually reflect our success. My colleagues, as we look toward the future, let's face our challenges and overcome our difficulties and limitations together. Let us continue transforming education to meet the rapidly changing world and emerging challenges. I suggest we build bridges of understanding, remove the barriers of misunderstandings, remove the barriers of misunderstanding, and pave the road for partnership. Let us work alongside each other in a grand, diverse community of learners who reach across boundaries, barriers, and differences, sharing our diverse experience and expertise, and build a successful future together. We will become stronger and more successful. We not only can, but we will transform challenges into success, and with that, we will realize our full potential. Thank you.